So here's the original image that I did a sketch straight onto the tracing paper, and then I divided it up into thirds, and deciding here that that didn't give me the drama that I needed. So this is what I've done afterwards, which is to redraw, moving the focus up into the top, majority of it into the top third. Okay, not quite fully the third, but we're definitely getting up there. I've moved the tree into this vertical third, so that I've actually got a subtle grass pathway which leads the eye towards the architecture here. So in my view, there's not much going on in these two thirds leading to the top third, and again we've got this third here leading to this third on the left with the tree in it. So I think this, if you can compare the two, has definitely got a little bit more kind of focus and drama about it, leads the eye this way. So these are my three main colours that I'm going to use: a green, a sandy colour for the brickwork, and a pinky colour for some blossom. So I will use other tones of these colours, but that's what I've decided are going to be my three main colours. So first of all, I'm going to do a nice large flattish area of green for the foreground grass. So I'm going to do this in stages. So I'm going to get a flattish colour down first, and then I'm going to work some texture on the top of that when it's dried. Actually, I could go all over that green because I'm going to do it in sections afterwards and intensify the colour, so I don't need to keep an edge there. I don't know why I did that. So all areas that are similar colour I should be blocking in like this first. Could do with a larger brush, but I haven't brought all of my things with me. I'm actually working from my mum's house at the moment because we're having some work done in our house, and I can't really work there, it's too noisy. So inevitably I've left some of my stuff behind, including a big brush. So I'm going to paint in the usual way, section by section, light to darker. Well, I've done my experiments with some texture up here, and I think I'm ready to have a go with this green area. So I'm going to put some pencil in, establish that this doesn't have a huge effect, but it just shines through just a little bit. So my mark making is going to be larger in the foreground, because this is where you're closer to it. So whatever I do in the foreground, I want to be much larger, and then we're getting much smaller as we're going back. The central section needs to be a little bit lighter anyway. So that's that, and then what I'm going to do is wash over this section now with this mid green with my brush that's actually a little bit too small, so I'm going to be quick. So get that over as fast as you can. Feel free to mask off areas areas if it doesn't suit you to do it like this. I think the middle section is actually lighter anyway, so I'm not too worried about that there, that there. So getting all that colour down quick as I can, because I'm going to put some of the plastic over the top of this to give that mottled effect. I'm getting a little bit light. If I go too light, it's not going to be enough impact. So I'm hurriedly mixing up a colour which is not really that great. Okay, let's get that in. So as long as it's all wet at the same time, then we're okay. Okay, now we need to get the plastic on, and I'll tape it down. So in the absence of cling film, have a plastic bag. Just going to use the bread bag. I'm going to scrumple it up and put it over this front section. Things like cling film, it will just sit down really nice and flat. This won't. So I'm going to tape this down. And I'm going to just see what happens. Obviously don't tape it down on top of the actual work. You might have to weight it down in some areas. So it could be amazing, could be terrible, but we're going to see. You get the crumbs off the bread bag first. Have to work quick because this has got to be wet, otherwise it won't have any effect whatsoever. And then leave it for a bit. See what happens. And always add to the effect with tissue blocking later. There we go. Right, while this texture foreground is just drying a little bit with some extra plastic that I've put on there to see what sort of effect that has, I'm going to try and get a bit of texture into the wall here. There will be it's much smaller mark making because it's a bit further away from us. So I'm just going to get a stronger version of the colour I put down first and basically just work with the side of the brush just to try and create some texture on here. So I'm putting a dab of paint on this effectively and then just blurring that in with some plain water, just moving my brush around, just try and create some texture. And as that's moving slightly away from me, my mark making is getting smaller. I can add shadows to that afterwards once it's dry. So texture small here, so similarly that wants to be just the point of the brush really. So dots in and then plain water to blur that away. Now I'm going to start working into the building and get a little bit of focus now into my main objects, which are the buildings at the top of the image there. So all this is supposed to be leading the eye up towards the building. Right, first I'm going to go for the shadow side. of the building, get that in first. So now I've done some of the darkest sections here, the shadow side of the house and the shadow side of the topiary. Now I'm just trying to shape the lawn a little more so it comes down now towards this path area, just using a series of marks so it doesn't look quite so flat. So now I need to work on getting the trees in, and I'm going to provide a lot more focus on this one here because this is the direction of travel of the eye. This one's more of a supporting role, so I'm going to make these a little darker, maybe not so much this one. I'm just going to add some white now for bits of blossom and around the window areas as well.